The 13 minutes is flying past her. How efficient the storytelling is.
The style is dictated by the story.
This shot exists as a specific shot, shows the level of care going into the direction of the story.
It seems like they definitely storyboarded this. It's too well composed to be like a spontaneous shot. For this session, we're going to be watching A Bad Video by Rocket Jump. I chose it because Rocket Jump is awesome. You know, haven't uploaded anything in a while, but looking back on the videos that really like impacted me and that have stuck with me, this is one that has always made me laugh. And when I went back to look at it, I was like, oh my God, this is like so much better than I remember it being. You know, I don't know if you guys have that. And we'll get into this, but I feel like it's very referential to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which similarly is a movie that every time I go back to it, I'm like, this is so much better than I remembered. Like, yeah.
And you said it's a bad video? Is that the title of the video, or are you saying it is a bad video?
Yes, the title is A Bad Video, but it is a great video. And we can jump right in.
What if they made an app for twins called Twinder?
Oh my God. I cannot wait to show this at work tomorrow.
You guys, I have to show you the funniest video of all time.
You're gonna love this.
I'll pause there just because I feel like, again, in reference to like Scott Pilgrim and like Edgar Wright, like you can really feel, I love montages. I love quick zoom ins, and like the sound design is so good. Like every time they push them down into the chair, you get like the little squeak.
Yeah, I feel like what I was like, that elevates it immediately. Like you can tell that there's attention being paid to telling the story of this thing. It's not just letting it happen. It's doing the storytelling, which Scott Pilgrim is full of that. So that's a good reference. I hadn't thought about that, but that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, and I think building a montage, you know, I feel like it's a thing that on the internet has become very common, but I think not always are they telling a story through the montage. And with this one, you can see it's like very deliberate. All of the cuts are like, okay, they're pulling up the video, typing it in, sitting people down. And one other thing that I think is very interesting in watching this back, I realized just how efficient the storytelling is. It's like when I try to write something, I'm always like thinking about, oh, what was this person thinking? Where were they the night before? And it's literally just like watching a video, smash cut. The next day, smash cut. Let's all watch it together. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're in it in like less than 30 seconds.
What I really like about it is that first joke is really funny. Like I'm immediately invested.
Yeah.
And I kind of know where it's going, but I think it's really good that they figured out a joke that's like probably is funny for most people.
They made an app for twins called Twinder.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it won you over in the first few seconds.
Yeah.
Puts you into alignment with the protagonist.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's so efficient. Like we're just a few seconds in, we know what she wants. We're invested in her like journey, and the sound effects and the montage is like helping convey that psychology to us. So like we're in this with her.
Here's a thought. What if they made an app for twins called Twinder?
They didn't laugh. That's weird. The next joke, for sure.
I didn't notice this before, but with these excellent headphones on, I feel like I could tell. You know, they do a slow push in, and then there's like a really quiet like whoosh right before we're inside of her head.
They didn't laugh. That's weird.
I feel like it's so effective for just letting you know that we're like transitioning from watching everybody experiencing this to fully being in her perspective, which is, I think, such a great editing move.
Even just like the framing, that first shot where it's her in the background and it's the three of them watching, you could just do basic normal coverage and like play the scene, but like that shot, that's the story right there. She's watching them watching this thing.
Yeah.
And so it's reminding you of the situation, how excited she is, how not into it they are. And yeah, like you're saying, the sound helps signal like this is a subjective moment we're going into. We're with her now.
Yeah, it is really beautifully composed where like all the people are stacked and it's sort of like, you know, creates like a triangle. So your eyes are ultimately leading to her. Pausing on this frame and seeing how disappointed everybody is.
It's pretty great.
It's so good and also so heartbreaking. Like I have been there so many times when you're trying to show somebody something. You're like, no, wait, please, just buy into it.
It's a very relatable experience.
Yeah.
You were saying about that, like it's kind of like Scott Pilgrim. And both of these, Scott Pilgrim and this, has style, but it's substance first. The style is dictated by the story.
Yeah.
And that's really important when you look at other videos. Sometimes it's like they have the same effects, they do the same smash zooms, but it doesn't add anything to the story. It's just a gimmick. And in this particular case, I think it's the only way to tell that story that way.
Yeah.
And just as I'm seeing this, like, why are they not laughing? That's what's going on with me. Like, it's clearly funny.
Yeah.
Why are they not laughing? So that's the tension that I have right now.
Am I right?
Here it comes.
Tastes just like sugared shit.
They don't think this is funny. That's weird. What's wrong with them? Or maybe... Oh, God. Is it me? Shit. Why was this so funny?
So this is like a nice reversal moment that's like almost the midpoint where it's like expectations have been set and then there's been a reversal and now she's like realizing, oh, things aren't what I thought. So just structurally, it's a nice flow to keep that dynamic of like expectations, subvert them, and now we're in a new direction. So I just appreciate that.
How did they do this effect where it turns black?
You can see
It's
there's a
After
little
Effects,
bit
right?
of, yeah.
Yeah,
like
you can see
green
the
screen.
matte on her hair a little bit. Like it's
Okay,
not
so it's a green
perfect.
screen.
Yeah, I
It has
think
to
they
be green screen.
composited in
Yeah.
the background. But still, I mean, it's done really well. Like,
Yeah, it
it's
totally works. I mean, I didn't expect it, and I'm like, oh, we're just transformed into a new world. I have no idea. Like, I'm buying it completely.
Yeah, again, this is another Scott Pilgrim moment, which I'm realizing now. Have you guys seen Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah,
I'm talking about
Obsessively.
Okay.
Yes, a million
Yeah,
times.
it's a perfect movie.
Prepare to feel the wrath of the League of Evil Exes.
The intensity with which like it cuts to black, it's something that you don't see in normal movies. Like whenever you're following a story, I think they try to make everything feel very invisible, even if you're supposed to be following a character. And I think this is so effective in that it like really drops you into the world, and it's like, don't focus on anything else. You're just like fully in this character's head as they're having a panic attack.
God. Is it me? Shit. Why was this so funny?
The eye movements are so good. I don't know if you guys have been on camera as much. I mean, I know you do, but you don't act, or maybe you do.
I try to project, maybe.
Well, you guys probably all know just from like, sitting and talking to a camera that like eye contact is so important.
Yeah.
I do a very bad job of like looking at myself in the monitor whenever I'm looking at the camera, but it's like so subtle. Everything happening right now is fully in voiceover.
Yeah.
So when they were filming this, for sure, maybe they were like playing back the track, but probably they haven't even recorded it yet. So it's just her looking, and having that be so subtle but so effective is always like very interesting from a performance standpoint for me.
It's a really interesting angle from the other shot because there's no continuity match, right? It feels like she's in a different state of mind at this point. Like she feels like she's being followed or something. She's like looking over her shoulder.
Last night, Kate doesn't think it's funny, but maybe Darnell thinks it's funny.
Oh my god, he got it! Oh no!
Freeze frame right here, like all of the speed lines, the vignette right here is so great. That slight punch in, it's like unnoticeable, but it
nice.
like adds so much intensity. I think now when you're like on TikTok and stuff, there's a lot of people who like will start shaking the phone so that there's like the earthquake effect happening. And it's cool. It's very fun. I don't want to knock on that. But I think this from like a more cinematic standpoint is like such an effective way of making you feel the intensity of the moment without it feeling like cheap or like a quick effect.
He got it! Oh no!
Just calm down now.
So I feel like that's the moment where she like totally gets it and then switches to like, now I'm having to calm myself down. And I feel like that's a good midpoint turn. I'm obsessed with midpoints, if you haven't been able to tell. But like, I feel like they're the least popular structural point, but they're so critical. Like the midpoint of Titanic, they hit the iceberg. It's kind of the fulcrum that everything like rests on. And so it's cool to see even in a 2-minute thing, there being a nice solid midpoint where there's a good buildup and it's about this thing and then that hits and now it's like, oh, now she's dealing with what's happened before. So structural approval from
Are
Michael.
you pulling the structure from like a Save the Cat or something like that, or just general, like Save the Cat?
I mean, it's fine. Screenwriting books in general, like I think it's better to read all of them because like all of them are kind of getting at the same thing, and it's about finding which one like resonates with you. So Save the Cat or Sid Field's screenplay, that's kind of the one that introduced the 3-act paradigm. There's all these different books, but basically, yeah, the midpoint, I think particularly in Into the Woods by John York, he talks about the importance of the midpoint, and especially in like Shakespearean 5-act structure, like that doesn't get talked about very much. We talk about 3-act, but don't think about 5-act. And the 5-act structure is really just making more of a meal about that midpoint turn and like realizing that that halfway point is an important thing to keep the story dynamics going.
And do you think a movie that doesn't have the exact midpoint, that they are flawed?
I don't think it's a rule, but I've noticed that in all the really good movies I've watched, if you scroll to the middle, something huge and pivotal is happening. Jurassic Park, the T-Rex breaks out. Really good movies with a really good structure usually have a really strong midpoint.
Just calm down, Ellery. People check their phones all the time. You're being neurotic. What is Kate doing? Is she checking the links of the... Oh my God, 13 minutes! It seems so short last night.
Wait.
What is flying in front of her?
I think it's the duration of the video. The 13 minutes is flying past her.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
It's swirling around her.
Wow.
So crazy. I can't imagine how much effort it must have been. It's only a few frames, but to like mask out her hair as it's blowing like crazy in every frame. Yeah, and it goes all the way across. That's crazy.
There's also red roses there that look like they should mean something. I don't think they do, but I like their prominence.
I mean, it's a great piece of set design.
Yeah.
You be tripping.
Focus.
It's kind of ahead of its time
Being in there
in
last
terms
night.
of the comedy.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
While I was cutting an indie feature for director Mark Webber, when we cut the movie, we had actually Edgar Wright watch the movie and
That
gave us
sounds
notes.
like my nightmare. Like, I idolize him so much.
Oh, he was very polite.
That's good.
I'm sure he'd be like super nice.
Yeah, he was super nice.
I had no idea that he directed, but the performance that he gives in Scott Pilgrim is it's so understated.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have like so much screen time, but he's so funny. Like when Scott slaps him right before they're about to get on stage.
We need to play now and loud.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're all friends, so like they are in each other's movies all the time, and it's
Yeah.
so they have that chemistry too.
Did you feel a lot of pressure working on a film that he was working on? I don't know.
No, not really. I mean, it's an indie film,
Okay.
and I mean, yes, it was probably our second or third movie that we did together. So we're kind of comfortable with where we are. But it was nerve-wracking to have Edgar Wright look at the movie and sit like behind him.
I bet.
Any worse?
And I was like, brother man, you be tripping.
This particular shot is so funny to me. I mean, I guess this is just the thing that comedy works best in like a wide shot, but I think the way that it's composed is so great because right now the focus is on her, but we're so in this guy's face and how, disappointed he is. And when she looks over, the rapt focus. I'm sure you guys have tried to do this before, but it is so like getting that timing to work so well is so challenging.
This shot exists as a specific shot, shows the level of care going into the direction of the story. Because again, you could just shoot all this with like coverage, just like a basic close-up, but like this shot is here to tell this beat of this story, and that's what it exists for.
Yeah, I don't think there's a
came out.
better shot for this moment.
Right.
Like this is the best. Like they thought about this and created this, and it works so well.
It seems like they definitely storyboarded this because there's no way that unless you have unlimited time on set to just like move the camera around, see how things are going. Like this, it's too well composed to be like a spontaneous shot.
And even that it's from like it's not from her perspective. Like earlier in the scene, we were seeing people from her perspective. I kind of like that this is now we're kind of more with them and with him, like experiencing this. Like I think it adds to the tides are turning on her sort of moment.
And if you want to get really nerdy, I don't know, but I would suspect that the eye tracking on this, like where we look on the frame when we enter, looking at her, the movement, still looking at her, but then it's like the action gets driven. It's almost like a cut on the action.
Yeah.
To him, in focus. And then that's the payoff. That's the tag.
Yeah, and the sound design is so good. That like boom impact works so well. Because again, whenever I use boom impacts, it's always sort of leading up to a moment where something will happen. And a lot of times that'll happen like on a cut so that you can like mask that. And the fact that this happens basically on an eye movement as opposed to a cut is so well done.
In terms of the sound effects also, this is like probably what, 2017, 2016?
I think 2016.
Yeah. So this is kind of past the height of reality show, where reality show has figured out what the genre is with all the bangs and the whooshes and all this. And now they've taken that and brought it back into narrative storytelling and introducing that because, yeah, I mean, Edgar Wright has been doing it, but otherwise it's like, that's a no-go to put a whoosh or something that sort of in your face into a movie.
Yeah. I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World has some of the best sound design.
Yeah.
They, use video game sounds, but also sounds of like clothes flapping or things within the space to transition things.
What are you doing? Getting a life. You want to fight me?
But your point about reality TV is really interesting. Have you worked on reality TV?
I have quite a bit. None of that is pretty much on my IMDb credit except for one, which I got an award nomination for.
4 modern-day explorers.
It's a complete journey of exploration. Exactly how it happened 130 years ago.
Congratulations.
That's the only reason why it's on there. Yes, sound design is crucial, and it happens in the editing. So we design these scenes with these sounds in mind to enhance like something like this. A reaction shot would always, like if it matters, it has a boom in there. Or a smash zoom. It got to the point where producers asked me to put record scratchers in shots, and I avoided it. Like I tried everything. Like let's do a pipe drop, which is like original or something. So I tried to really not do the regular thing, but it was very much the language of the genre, and still is.
Last question I'll ask about the TV stuff. But is there like one sound effect that you always came back to? For my videos, Bamboo Whoosh #3 is like my most used.
I had 10 go-to sound effects that I always uploaded into my Avid that I lean to, and I don't even know if they were licensed. There are many shows.
What was your #1 most used?
Whoosh #2.
And can you perform that for us?
Whoosh. It was like a very rich and fast, but very like epic whoosh.
Pretty good. We can use that transition back into the piece.
I'll give you the whoosh.
3, 2, 1.
Not without my badger.
Oh. Do you know what that reminds me of? Did you guys see that video of the badger attacking the Japanese pop star?
It gets
Hey,
better.
everybody, who watched the badger attack video? Now this is a video.
This video. I don't get it.
Such a perfect ending. I feel like landing things is so hard, but that's so good. Also, I just want to say in terms of like, again, me always thinking that I have to like add so many more things in than it needs and like the efficiency of storytelling. Like he just says, hey, everybody, come and watch the video. And then we cut to, there's like all these people that we've never seen that are like working in the office. And we just sort of accept it, because we're in her head, we're not thinking about like what this office is, the single tier. Like, again, that performance, it taking place mostly in voiceover, and she like isn't doing so much with her face. Like she's really just sort of like in shock, and it's the tear that tells the whole story. You don't need to do a lot.
And I feel like Rocket Jump really for me was like somebody discovered After Effects and used it on YouTube videos and created a whole new genre that way for YouTube. And
I know.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. I feel like they really, they were one of the channels that really changed what YouTube could be. I think, there was a lot of people like in bedrooms or like, very lo-fi stuff. And I think they were very early on doing very high production quality, which is great. And I think now like YouTube, you can feel the difference where everybody is trying to level up their editing or their production quality. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's very cool to me that something like this could exist in 2016 on YouTube and not be like, Comedy Central or not have any celebrities in it. Like it just is such a great artistic expression. I would love to know what you guys think is like the thing that worked the best for you in this video.
Well, I think the length is perfect. The question is, does it hold up today? And I think it does. Like you could put this up today and it would work on YouTube. I think it would. People would love it. Or you put it on TikTok today.
I was going to say, I feel like something like this maybe would be a TikTok thing now.
Yeah.
There's a low effort version of this that is not good at all, that is a bad video. And I love that this is a high effort, like love was put into every frame, every shot. It's really telling the story. Like that's what makes this interesting and special, I think. And I think that that level of effort is what enables it to be that short too and be that efficient and just makes it a more pleasurable experience.
Thank you guys so much for checking out this video with me. You know, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, you know, because there's a version of this whole thing where I am in parallel with the character in the story. Can you take us out with one last great sound effect?
Here we go.